In coming here to speak this morning, and whenever I'm going to speak at anything, I like to sort of reflect on what the purpose of the event is about, or what this campaign is about. So, in thinking about what I was going to say today, I was reflecting back on 2 or 3 weeks ago, something sort of funny that happened to me, and I promise there will be a point to the end of the story by the time I get to the end of it. But in a role like the role of Attorney General, no day is the same. Every day is different. I think we do a lot of important things to help people, but it's easy when you get caught up in the moment and get caught up in what you think are really important big decisions to forget the basics. And every now and then, sort of funny things happen that remind you of what our basic job is, what our basic mission is in public service, and really what this campaign is about. So 2 or 3 weeks ago, it's the middle of a hectic day, a lot of crazy things going on, and I take a few minutes to leave the office and go to one of my favorite places for lunch, Subway. 6-inch black tortilla is my favorite order, and they pretty much know it at the Concord Subway. So I'm running out the back door, come out the back door of the DOJ onto School Street, and bam, standing right there, 2 guys with cameras, clearly looking to get someone on video at the DOJ. I just think, great, right? So I walk out and I try the time-tested method of solving problems, say nothing, ignore it, hope it goes away. I just walk straight there. And then they say to me, "Excuse me, sir, do you work at the DOJ?" And I felt 2 things in that moment. One was relief, and one was a profound sense of humility. Because these guys had come to the DOJ to try to get someone on camera and talk about what we're doing, and they had no idea who I was. So I walk up towards Main Street, and they're badgering me, asking me questions, but what they kept asking me was, "How many people have you helped today, sir? You work for the government. How many people have you helped? How many people have you helped?" And I'm not proud to say that I really just didn't answer the question, because I said the strategy I came up with at the moment, maybe not the best one, was just to not say anything. So I kept walking down the street, but they kept saying, "How many people have you helped?" And eventually they left me alone. They walked away. I think they thought they were going to try to go find someone important to talk to, because I wasn't saying anything. So it's kind of a funny story, kind of a kooky little story, but I honestly say when stuff like that happens, it kind of reminds you of really what you're trying to do in public service, right? Because I think a story like, I don't know what those guys were there for. I'm not sure what their mission was. I don't know what organization they were with. But they understood something that is fundamental, not just to being in public service, but really just to being human beings. That at the end of the day, we all have an obligation to do what we can with what we have to help people. And in government, that's really what it's all about. And I will say that I think, New Hampshire organizations like New Hampshire Legal Assistance, 603 Legal Aid, they do the purest form of that work. They're helping people every day. We do important things in other areas of government, public service, and public interest work, but the frontline workers at New Hampshire Legal Assistance, 603 Legal Aid, that's what they do. They're helping people. They're helping a single mom who maybe needs to access benefits or child support, who wouldn't be able to do that if they didn't have a lawyer. Helping a family who might lose their home because their landlord's kicking them out illegally. And if they don't have access to a lawyer, they can't afford a lawyer. They can't get the help they need. Helping a veteran try to access benefits they need. Helping a victim of domestic violence get a protective order. That's what New Hampshire Legal Assistance and 603 Legal Aid do. And in the legal community, our obligation to help people really comes down to helping people access the system that we all know how to navigate, but that most people have no idea how to navigate. So this campaign, to me, is about supporting those efforts. And most of us, frankly, don't have the ability to do the amazing work that folks at New Hampshire Legal Assistance and 603 Legal Aid do every day, because it is the most important work that we can do, and it's the hardest work. And people like Elliot Berry, who are being honored here today, who spent 40 years doing that work. Elliot and I don't know each other that well, I will confess, but we have interacted, and primarily during the pandemic, when he was a passionate advocate for people who might lose their homes during COVID. And we did work together on some initiatives that the governor undertook at that time to help with that. But the work that New Hampshire Legal Assistance and 603 Legal Aid does is so important. And most of us don't have the ability to do that work, and we're occupied with other things. But what we can do and what we're obligated to do is do everything we can to support that work. And for many of us, that means giving of what we have, whether it's time, talent, or treasure, you know, the classic phrase, giving what we have. And so that to me is what this campaign is about. I like the sound of access to justice. I like the sound of closing the access to justice gap. But at the end of the day, I think it's also helpful to just simplify that and bring it back to the basic components of what this campaign is about. And it's about helping people who need a lawyer to help them solve their problems and can't afford it. It's just very basic. And the most basic work and the most basic needs are really most important. So with that, I want to thank everyone who works every day on the front lines with New Hampshire Legal Assistance and 603 Legal Aid. I want to thank all of you for being here. It's great to be back in person. I feel like we were half back last year at St. A's. That was a great venue, but it was probably half the size at most. So thank all of you for being here. Thank you for everything you've done. There are so many people in this room who have been doing this work for years, and compared to you, I'm still fairly new to this work. So thank you for everything you have done, everything you will do, and here's to a great campaign.